the 10-year period is hard to predict, and that's the big problem. I don't see the National Security Agency, GCHQ, Five Eyes Alliance more broadly, France a bit, Russia a bit, China mostly domestically, have been engaged in mass surveillance, and the Five Eyes countries for, well, serious computational mass surveillance about 20 years. That's something that is of such scale that it strategically affects the development of human civilization. In fact, it's called strategic interception for exactly that reason. Now, strategic interception is slowly being degraded, and that was a very important thing to do because, and I guess some people can't see the reasons, but as the majority of the world's populations threw itself onto the internet, we merged our human societies with the internet. So the result is that whatever the security structure of the internet, our human societies also became part of that. And that structure was, in part, mass strategic interception. Now, I worked on this for years, many other people as well, and we had a really big hit in 2013 with the Edward Snowden revelations that smashed that into the consciousness, not of the average person. I think that was a negative, actually, because they all became paranoid about what they were saying and became fearful and conformist. But we smashed that into the minds of engineers. And engineers thereby felt ennobled, and that they were part of the flow of human destiny by including encryption into the communications protocols. So that has checked a very dangerous development. And we're left then with the other dangerous developments, of which, the important ones are the ones that I described. I don't think that now, and perhaps in the next 3 years, we're going to see computer hacking at scale. People talk about it as if it's happening at scale at the moment. It's not happening at scale, not compared to strategic interception. But the AIification of computer hacking is something that will happen at scale because you're automating it. Now, within AI, how you train AIs for discrete problems, and computer hacking, many aspects of it is a discrete problem. There hasn't been significant progress on, in my view. What there has been enormous progress on is how you kind of map through a space which is in between a fluid problem and a discrete problem. And so an example of a space like that is the game of Go. That's a very good example toy space where each step in Go is discrete, but you've got enough pieces and enough board that it almost starts to become a fluid. And when you assemble all the computer hacking techniques together, there's so many and so many targets that now you're starting to look like, now you have a search space that starts to look more like a fluid. And these search spaces we can increasingly conquer. And when you have very large computer programs, and I suppose when you fuzz large computer programs, if they're large enough, you have enough discrete chinks in the attack surface that altogether they're more like a fluid. So I think inevitably we're going to see this AIification of computer hacking attacks, and that will then be merged with other search spaces. And those other search spaces look like, well, what is the informational space? Because in the end, what you really want is machines and human beings to make particular decisions. So you bring to bear, you acquire as much knowledge as possible, and then map it back in onto the actors whose decisions you want to affect. And so there's a lot of talk about hybrid warfare, some of it legitimate, some of it overblown. It's actually been something that's been around for many, many years. But I think this notion of bringing together different search spaces in AI that are large enough to have a semi-fluid property means that you can then go through the search spaces of all of them together. And that can produce something very powerful and, from a human perspective, completely incomprehensible.